So I'm going to be honest, guys. I've been getting real lazy, and some could say depressed over winter. Last year, we had an amazing winter. It barely snowed. It barely got cold. It was the most mild winter I think I've ever experienced in my life. This year, not so much. We've had a good bit of snow, really low temperatures. I mean, the river in certain spots is literally icebergs from bank to bank for miles. It's crazy. Froze the whole way across. I mean, that looks like little icebergs, but those are like several feet thick. I mean, the freaking river and that opening right there, it's flowing the wrong direction. So it's snaking underneath the river to come out of there. I mean, that edge right there, it's like 15 foot above the water probably. Before I show you guys, just gotta say, no, I don't think it's smart to be climbing up on the icebergs along the river, okay? Where I was standing at, I could see ground underneath me because that pushed up onto the land. Yes, it is highly tempting to try and walk across the river, but probably be certain death. You record? Mm-hmm. It looks like it's deep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. If you try to visualize where the water's at and then picture the ice being above it, some of these ice things are like pyramids. They're like, it's like 20 foot tall, just straight ice blocks in the middle of the river. Even in a section of river that I know is flowing pretty good. So, it's pretty crazy. I don't care how good of an angler you are, you're not getting a bait through that. You're not catching a fish in there. Just saying. So, the Elite Challenge for this January is not looking good. Honestly, I haven't even bought my fishing license yet. I need to do that. I need to remember that. But the real reason why I'm making today's video is because I have some issues with some baits. Well, I've always had issues with some baits. Part of quality control is to take out the baits that are messed up, so I don't sell them. From the beginning, I've used all of my own rejects for fishing. So almost every fish you see me catch, I don't take my good stuff. I take the rejects. I have different boxes. These are good ones. These are rejects. Same thing with hooks and things. I have different containers for different things. You know, whether it be paint didn't cover correctly, paint was too thick, paint was dripping. Maybe I come across a hook that was actually bent that I didn't notice when I poured the lead. It does happen sometimes. Especially with the Ned hooks. For some reason, those hooks have so many bends and things in it that the machine that makes those hooks apparently messes up sometimes, and the angles aren't quite right. And so I take those ones, I bend them how I think they should be, and I use them myself. Same thing with tubes. If I have a really lumpy tube, or it has air pockets in it, looks ugly, or the color ain't quite right, I set it to the side and I use it for myself. Now, this is where the problem lies. So far, absolutely zero complaints on my baits from anyone, ever, from the beginning. No one has complained one bit. But when we get on the topic of color, that's where it gets complicated. So, no matter what picture you see of a bait, you look at the color and you think, oh, that's going to be fire. When you finally get it in the mail, you go, is this what I bought? You go back to the picture, you're like, that is not what I expected to happen. We all see color differently. Cameras, lighting, it all gets funny, right? But I'm here to tell you that I have had an issue with the caramel copper color from the beginning. In the beginning, it was every once in a while, I'd had a bait that kind of turned red, and I would just pull those to the side and be like, I don't know why these 3 or 4 turned red. That's weird. And I went through that sale when I was going to close my store tubes and hooks, everything flow off the shelf. I'm still trying to recoup from that. But yes, I've been super lazy in winter, and so I could have put more effort to put things up. I just feel like, over winter, I don't see that many people buying stuff. But you guys are still buying stuff. And so anyways, when that original crazy sale happened, I decided I'm going to make a whole bunch of tubes. Whole bunch. Because people were buying them like crazy. I was like, yep, time to invest the money into it, make a whole bunch of these. And so as we're going through that, I kept picking more and more red baits out. And I'm like, why are these turning red? And so I started looking at my process. But no matter what I did, they always came out slightly different from time to time. In the same batches, sometimes I would get some baits that look red. And I'm like, man, is it because of my plastic boxes? Is it reacting to the plastic? Because it did kind of seem like the ones touching the plastic seemed to turn red. And I'm like, and I have to pull them out. Every time I got an order, I'm like, oh, well, no, this one's the right color, this one's the right color. And I would hand pick. And I'm like, man. And so my pile of tubes that are, well, I'm not going to say they're no good, but my tubes that were supposed to be caramel copper that really aren't just started stacking up. Now, there's other colors in here, too, with defects. But the point I'm getting at is, one day I made a big batch of them, and I only decided to finish processing them as people ordered them. And as they were sitting on my table, it seemed like every day they were getting more and more red. And I was like, hold on a second. After about 2 weeks, I looked and they're all red. And that's what made me want to make this video. Because I'm here going, oh crap, wait a minute. I've been selling these tubes. What if they're all turning red? I have been trying like crazy to figure out why some of these are turning red. I contacted the company just to ask them if there's been any issues with this color or that color or this and that. And basically they got back to me to say, we haven't had any issues, and gave me a little bit of a list of things to look for that I could be doing wrong. And then also said, we can give you a refund on those particular colorants if you're having trouble with it. In my mind, I'm like, okay, it's cool and all, but none of it really solved my problem. They're still turning red. I don't know why. And it seems to be time is the reason. But then sometimes it's fine. I make sure my process is identical. Same temperatures, same drops. I mix it between dips and I store them the same way. I let them all cure side by side. And some of these will come out 2 different colors side by side stacked on the table beside each other. So what started off as me just pulling out some that were turning red is now turning into, well, I don't know how many are red. I don't know how to even make the color that I want now. This problem also arose in the burnt goose turd color a little bit. Not as often, but sometimes they turn red. And it's hard, you have to hold up to the light to see the red in the goose turd. And maybe I'm being too picky, but I'm telling you all this because if for some reason you bought the caramel copper or the goose turd and you got them home and you looked at them and you were like, this is disgusting, this is a terrible bait, this is not what I ordered, I want you to get in contact with me, use the email for my business, and we will figure something out to make it right. No one has complained so far, but these were not meant to be red. Just saying. And as I'm saying this and making this video, panicking a little bit because I sold a whole bunch of these, and I'm hoping everyone's still happy with what they have. In my mind, I'm thinking, I've been using the red ones, without a problem in catching fish. To me, color doesn't mean all that much for catching fish. I think it has more to do with confidence for you. If you have a color that gives you confidence, you're going to do better, you're going to catch more fish. I strongly believe that. And so if you bought these and you aren't confident in it, and you don't like it, like I said, get a hold of me, we'll figure something out, we'll work something out. It's kind of scary to make this kind of video and announce this because I sold a lot of these, and it would suck really bad if I had 100 people message me and say they want a refund or they need an exchange, this and that, because honestly, I can't even promise an exchange because I can't figure out why they're turning red. I just can't. The other colors, the blue smoke and the green pumpkin and the dark green pumpkin, I've seen no issues with those. They look exactly like what they should. I always check everything to make sure it's as perfect as it can be, but something that's changing colors 2 weeks later, I don't know how I'm going to prevent that. I'm already having to leave them cure on my table for 2 days before I can put them in a bag and sell them, because if you don't, they'll conform to the bag and they'll look like crap. So having to wait 2 weeks to then sell tubes that don't look like what they're supposed to look like. The easiest answer is I can just go take another picture of these, put a different name or different color on my site, whatever, explain that they're the red ones. Because to me, it's just another color, which any color could serve a great purpose, in my opinion. I can only do that temporarily. I want to move away from these colors because this shouldn't be happening, and so we are in the trial and error process once again. But with that said, these tubes that, again, to me aren't really a defect, they're just a different color, I'm going to sell them in my store, but they're limited. I'm not going to keep making these because I want to have control over my colors and what's happening. You know, maybe I'll have a defect tubes spot in my store that they'd be a little cheaper or something. Not saying the red ones will be in the defect portion of the store, because again, to me, they're just a different color. There's nothing wrong with them. But the defects ones may be like varying colors throughout. Maybe some of the legs got cut off. Maybe it's a little lumpy. Maybe it's got some little holes in it, air pockets in the plastic or something. Something like that. Because I have a whole bunch of tubes that I can't possibly use myself at this point. You know, I'm pretty sure most of you guys understand that, like, this is a fresh start. This wasn't planned out. I didn't start 4 years ago and tell myself I'm going to make my own baits and start a bait company. Didn't happen. So I'm learning as I go. I think I do a great job with my baits. I think they're high quality. There's just something going on with this that's kind of biting me in the butt. And I don't think it's anything I'm doing. And I'm not blaming the company either. I don't know what's happening. And so I have to find a way to make this not happen. You know, it just sucks to have spent that much time using these colorants to try and figure something out to get my own, like, collection of ish colors. You know, don't want to just copy people, kind of want to do my own thing. And even making this a new color, I can't make these reliably red. And I can't sit on these tubes for 2 weeks in my garage while they're turning red before I can then sell them. That's why these are going to be temporary. I think that's all I wanted to say. I don't even know. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully you guys have been happy with the products. They've been catching me some pretty big fish. Actually, they've been catching me my biggest fish. Hopefully you guys catch a giant. I'll see you next time.